check out this minifigure I made. It's literally Wong, but as a Jedi.
Is that just what we're going with?
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Hello there, all you bucketheads, and welcome, all you foundlings, to another episode of the most disorganized podcast on the internet. If you like what you see here today, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe to Under the Helmet Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, join that Discord, and we did a cold open, all right. That was the coldest of cold opens. Just like this water I'm drinking out of a mason jar. Yeehaw, brother. Anyway, Mando, Bad Batch, Battle Scars. Oh my. Let's get into it.
All right. So, I guess just starting off non-spoilers for everything.
Mhm.
If you just want to touch on Bad Batch, Mando, Battle Scars, because I feel like that'll be the order that we hit everything in.
I would agree with Callahan. He definitely would have a yellow or a green saber.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I've got yellow blades I can use. Anyways, so let's do Mando, Bad Batch, Battle Scars. Let's just do it the same as the title, honestly.
All right.
So non-spoilers for Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
There's a line. I guess it's kind of a spoiler, so I'll hold off on that. But great episode overall. A lot of people saying that this one was kind of filler, but I could not disagree more.
This Bad Batch episode?
No, this Mando episode.
Oh. No, I love this Mando episode. This Mando episode was awesome.
It gave us awesome. It did this thing that people love about Star Wars and complain when there isn't enough of it. It's called world building. Mm-hmm. And the fact that people are like, "Oh my god, it's filler," just shows that they have no idea what filler is. Like, filler contributes nothing to the overall plot. This episode contributed so much to the overall plot. And the overall characters it contributes to. Grogu, it contributes to Bo-Katan, it contributes to the Armorer. Paz Vizsla get some character development in this. Mando doesn't get a whole lot, but he gets some moments to really shine.
Yeah, some bits.
So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. So
I really liked this episode because I feel like it started to really set up our main villain for season 3.
Ooh,
and we'll get into that when we talk spoilers.
Absolutely. We get confirmation of another Space Daddy.
Yes, we did.
We also got some really great moments, some very triumphant returns.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll get into that. So, Bad Batch this week was good.
Bad Batch was good.
So, I had to say, out of these 3 projects that we're going to talk about, I'm going to say Bad Batch was my favorite this week.
Yeah? Okay.
We got some great returning characters. We got some great character moments. There's one I'm still waiting on to return.
Okay.
Without going into spoilers, I will not name his name, but I do have his Lego minifigure now, and I want to know where he is. I miss him very greatly. But anyways, let's say there's so much from this episode that I just really enjoyed, and it's such a good setup for the finale. And I'm really surprised. My predictions last week, almost none of them happened.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. But I heard a really interesting theory I want to run by you. This isn't a spoiler, so I can say this. So, Pabu. Okay. The theory is we don't know what planet Pabu is on.
Mm-hmm.
It's never directly mentioned.
Yeah.
And do you want to get punched in the gut? This theory says that Pabu is on Scarif. What do we think of that?
I have been under the assumption that Pabu was its own planet. Like that wasn't the that was the name of all of it. But no, that's huh.
Like probably was just a settlement on Scarif,
And
and that
the Earth
because of
imperial development on the other side of the planet.
that's what caused the. I thought probably was a planet named too, but I gotta say I kind of like the theory.
I really like this theory. I really like this theory.
Star Wars loves to cause us pain, and
Yeah.
that would be a really great way to do it. But we'll see. And battle scars, non-spoilers.
Man, I feel like we've already touched pretty heavily on non-spoilers for Battle Scars. I love the book. I love what it adds to the canon. I love how it fills in some things that, judging by the trailer, people are going to be like, "Hey, when did this happen? When did this happen? Read the freaking book."
Absolutely.
Read the book.
We got a trailer for Jedi Survivor.
We did, and it was so good.
And
I can't play it.
The battle scars are great. I'm very excited for the game.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Bummed I don't get to play it because I don't have a gaming system. So
I do have a gaming system, but the day that it drops, the day after that, I head out to Disney to celebrate May 4th. So y'all will get to watch it after that.
Somebody gonna be streaming on Twitch. Stay in school, kids. Reading is cool. Stay in school. Under the Helmet podcast does condone staying in school.
And it's been a while since we've had a disclaimer.
Good disclaimer for once. We got a good disclaimer for once.
I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with a good disclaimer.
Absolutely. Also, if we may have noticed, I have not lagged a single bit this episode. I'm not going to say that way. But I called my Wi-Fi provider, and they were able to upgrade my service. So, yeah.
Like, double your speeds?
They doubled my speeds. So, apparently, I was running on a 500 megabits. I'm now at 1,000. So if I have any lag issues, I will jump out my window.
All right.
There's a bush right below my window, so if I land in it, I'm gonna be okay.
Hey, maybe now you'll be able to play Battlefront 2005 with me.
Watch those wrist rockets.
Watch those wrist rockets.
Under the Helmet podcast does condone watching those wrist rockets.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead, and I want to touch on something very briefly before we start. Tiny little rant time.
Okay.
For those of us who live here in the good old United States of America, you might want to put the rant time banner up.
Yeah, you know what?
We need it. Fair warning, I've been cooked this one. So for those notice that there was those of us living here in the grand old US of A, there was a hearing on the app TikTok. And for those who have seen any footage of it, you saw probably Walmart Kelly Clarkson and many of the other dinosaurs that run our country asking the CEO of a tech company, does the app connect to Wi-Fi? And many other silly little questions like that. Also, just generally being horrible scumbags of human beings.
Well, yeah.
So, but the point I'm trying to make is this. I don't want to say that there aren't other issues, aren't more pressing issues out there, but for many, TikTok is a way to express themselves. Like the CEO said, there's 150 million Americans on that app. If even half of that people contacted their representative and said no, and that if you don't, we will primary you in your next election, we could get power done. A lot of the members of that committee, like Bail, tie it in a Bad Batch real quick. What did Bail Organa say back in the Clone Conspiracy? Follow the money. And if you do follow the money, you find some very shocking things. Like many members of that panel are heavily invested in TikTok's competition Meta, which is very curious, very very curious. Don't want to put my conspiracy cap on, but also Facebook's lobbying budget has almost doubled in the past year.
Yep, I believe
So
it.
do with that as you will.
And lobbying is
But
awful.
I find it very interesting that the country that harps on and on and on about freedom of speech and how China would censor certain information on TikTok is now literally saying, yeah, we're going to censor their app.
Yeah.
Because China bad. So if you live in the US and best thing you can do, go to house.gov, type into Google, find, contact my representative, type in your zip code, you'll find who represents you in Congress, send them a message. I already sent one to mine. I personally thought it was a really good message. My representative, I believe, is probably pro banning TikTok because she's got the magic letter R in front of her name. But one could hope. So I want to give a huge shout out to all of the amazing friends that I've met on TikTok, all the amazing people. And if the app does go down, find me here. Because I don't honestly, if the app does get banned, I probably will not go back to using Meta products, whether it be Facebook, Instagram. I'll probably keep my accounts, but I probably will not be active on them other than to maybe message friends and things like that. But using them as little as possible because, it's what I can do. So it's an opportunity to make your voice heard. Government censorship is never okay. And if we have a chance to, I don't want to say fight back because it's not the right word.
In a way, yes.
Make your voice heard.
I personally, my thoughts on the issue, as much as this is about Meta lobbying to actively reinforce their own platform through congressional means, and lobbying itself is a scummy practice, and we should get as much money out of government as we can. Honestly, in my personal opinion, legislators should be paid minimum wage or what they deem as a livable wage. Because if everyone else should be able to live on it, well, so should you too, asshole. But I think when it comes down to it, this is an issue of freedom of speech. Because by censoring media in any form, be that on YouTube, be that on Instagram, be that an entire app, that being TikTok, be it books like we're seeing actively, once again, censorship in general is bad. People should have access to information, and I forget who exactly said it. I think it was Stephen King. But if people are banning books, that's the stuff you should be sprinting to your library to read. So, in my opinion, if the government is actively looking to ban something, you should probably check out what it's saying.
Not to put the conspiracy hat on, but the train derailments in Ohio were not a very big story. Kind of would have gotten swept under the rug if it wasn't for the fact that they gained a lot of viral traction on TikTok.
The ones that actively put
a lot of videos I saw before it got big on the news was, why is nobody talking about this? Why is this being swept under the rug? So I think part of it is also there's the sense that the U.S. government wants to ban it simply because it's a Chinese company that started the thing, even though 5 members of their board, 3 of those members are American. If you have the stomach to watch a man fight for his life for 5 hours straight, watch the hearing. You will be shocked and appalled the way they treated Mr. Shu, the CEO of TikTok. And huge shout out to him, huge respect to him. One of my favorite, I guess, dunks from it was one of the dinosaurs was going into him about how he might be a Chinese Communist Party agent, even though TikTok is so. A little bit of backstory: TikTok is housed in Singapore.
Okay.
That's where, and in the U.S., like that's where the two main places are. So not even in China.
Mhm.
They have employees all over the globe, but and he said, well, maybe you're beholden to Chinese law and you're a member of the CCP. And he says, I'm Singaporean. I'm from Singapore. So for those unaware who have never looked at a map before, Singapore is not a part of China. So yeah. So all I'm saying is on this issue, make your voice heard. Also, if you're advocating for something to be banned because simply you hate China, because I made a post about it yesterday on my personal on my Instagram, but also on my personal Snapchat. I made a post about it, and I got a lot of comments from people that tried to give reasons as to why, and a simple conversation kind of unrails all of it. They're like, well, data collection privacy is an issue. Okay, well, Facebook does the same thing. Like
Meta
it's
does the
not,
same thing. Google does the same thing.
exactly.
So does Apple.
It's
Every
an
major
issue with tech
company out there is
itself.
doing the exact same thing.
When I was in my I'm not going to download TikTok era back when I was in college, I used to make the joke of, dadgummit, the only companies that are going to steal my information are American companies, dadgummit. And truly, that is the mindset of our government. The only people that get to steal our data are American companies because freedom and shit, except the freedom to go on TikTok.
If I'm going to have my data abused and stolen and used for nefarious purposes, it better happen here.
Well, also, dadgummit, they pay me money. And guess what, Mr. TikTok? You don't pay me enough money. So you got to go. You got to go. So anyway, rant over. Contact your representative. And also, there's a myriad of other issues in this world that are worth discussing. Women's reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights, trans rights, voting rights. The list goes on.
The fact that there's somebody who actively wishes I was dead who's going to be running for president, that's always very fun.
Yes. So, but here's the thing, and I want to say this. Don't sit by on one issue because you simply say, oh, well, there's bigger fish to fry than this. Because I had somebody comment that and say, well, there's all these other issues as well. Why would you talk about this? A lot of people are exposed to you're exposed to a lot of different opinions on TikTok, good, bad, or indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
But guarantee you're less likely to be exposed to different perspectives on YouTube than you are on TikTok. So just keep that in mind because it's baffling to me. It truly is. I'm trying not to get emotional, get all worked up because it's what's going to happen is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But don't say, oh, well, there's bigger fish to fry than this, because here's the thing. If you lose a main avenue of communicating, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be able to communicate about, women's rights and African-American rights and, LGBTQ rights, because guess what? A lot of those information gets disseminated through TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Also, mind you, these are kind of things that people on the left are losing on. So, you want to add another L to the fucking playbook? Jesus, we're 20 minutes in. I can say it now.
Yeah.
You want to add another
asshole.
L to the roster of L's we just keep taking? Because if you want to do that, great. Add another L. Be my guest. All I'm saying is you have an opportunity to make a W, a bipartisan W, because guess what that's going to do? Okay, we agree on this. What else do we agree on? It encourages conversation. Liberals don't fucking lose all the time. Challenge level impossible. Literally. So anyway, rant over.
I want to have one more thing to say.
Go right ahead.
Even if you don't necessarily support, because I know we touched on a couple different things. if you don't necessarily support the, you know, LGBTQ plus community, if you don't support the trans community, if you don't support any of these communities, you know, I can only say so much. That being said, don't look at us specifically just for the communities that we're part of. Look at us as another human being.
Mm-hmm.
Just another human being. Even if you don't support necessarily, because I know trans rights are another big one with the Ron DeSantis actively going on his fucking warpath about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't support trans
genociding.
rights, you can support us as just another human being just trying to live their life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't come into your house. I don't come into your church and tell you not to live that way. Don't come into my house and tell me how to live mine. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
that's all I got about that. You have anything else that you want to say?
I think we pretty much knocked in. No. Our world is a beautiful place, full of a lot of diversity of people. And if you want to shut your mind off to that in the country that is supposed to be the melting pot, then you need to reassess yourself. Because American history is not exactly known for our niceness or fondness of people who are outside of the acceptable archetype. But here's the thing. As that circle shrinks, guess what? Eventually you become the unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. It's a snake that eats its own tail.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Anyways, on a lighter note,
want to get into Star Wars?
Let's get into the Mandalorian.
Dude.
Because spoiler alert. You know, there was kind of a heavy segue, but it was something that needed to be said. Most importantly,
it was important.
Speaking of somebody else who spoke their piece and said what they needed to say, we're just going to get it out of the way, jump right in. This episode saw the return of Ahmed Best as Kelleran Beck. And for those who are unaware, there was a kid show called Jedi Temple Challenge where he hosted it and was a Jedi. And to see him show up and save Grogu made my heart whole. Because I'm not going to lie, I rewatched that scene, just that one scene in that episode, because it was so beautiful. And apparently...
he ends up dual wielding. That was awesome. Like he finds somebody else's lightsaber and just goes at it.
So what I loved about that scene in particular was the other Jedi Knights say, get him to Kelleran. I missed that on my first watch through.
Really? I didn't catch that either. I didn't know they said that.
I didn't catch that. So when Grogu goes into the elevator and he's by himself, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? You know, he's going up the elevator. And I'm glad I don't record these, my first time watch throughs, because I just sat there and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be Quinlan Vos, Barriss Offee, and Mace Windu all together holding hands to save Grogu. And then the door opened and I saw Ahmed Best's face and I immediately went, oh my God. Here's the thing. I couldn't remember Kelleran Beck's name, but I was like, it's the guy from Jedi Temple Challenge. And for those of you who have not watched the show, it's actually really entertaining.
This is the finale of Jedi Temple Challenge. There is no more temple. This is the last challenge.
Younglings, your next challenge, survive. Current objective, survive.
Oh my God.
Emma, Toad Wave. Anyways, yeah. So seeing Ahmed Best and hear him say, "It's gonna be all right, kid." That hit. Watching him save the day, and it was just beautiful. It honestly, it wouldn't have been interesting to see like a Quinlan Voss save Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, it would have given people what they wanted, but
I think this is what people needed.
it is, and
Kelleran Beck was the
I will
hero
say
the
that
galaxy needed, not necessarily
absolutely.
the one they wanted.
And I'm gonna make my little connection here. So here we go. Gonna bring up the Last Jedi. So Ryan Johnson, what does he say about Rey? Nobody. He says it's not about what the fans want. It's about what's best for the story. And while it would have been really cool to be like, oh my god, it's Quinlan Voss, it would have been a cop out, and it would not have been that good for the story. But getting to see somebody who, like, my parents had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Like, I was on the phone and I was like, "Did you see who saved Grogu?" And they're like, "Yeah." Who was that? And I was like, "You don't know Kelleran Beck?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "That's Ahmed Best, the guy who played Jar Jar Binks." And they're like, "Oh, cool." But my parents are very casual Star Wars fans, so that's fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
But to those of us who know Ahmed Best's story and find inspiration in his story, because personally, I find his story to be very, it's heartbreaking, but inspiring. Knowing that he went to some of the darkest places any human being can go and came back from that and found the strength to go on and continued on with his life. And not only that, brought his son back and showed him that vulnerability and was willing to have that tough conversation and to help other people learn from that. That right there is a true Jedi. You could not be more Jedi than that. So, also, if I hear one more fucking person saying, that's Jedi Jar Jar. No, bitch, that is Kelleran Beck. Kelleran motherfucking Beck. Put some respect on his name. Because, honestly, top 5 Jedi, Kelleran Beck. He's in there. He's up there with Kanan and Ezra and Obi-Wan for me.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan, Kanan, Cal, Kelleran Beck, Ezra. That's my ranking. That's my top 5. Here we go.
I appreciate that Cal is stepping into his hunkiest man in the galaxy era with Survivor. It makes me very happy because he has become that intergalactic heartthrob that Anakin Skywalker no longer can be because he lost his hair and his legs,
Bro had
and also his skin tone
mm-hmm.
and ability to breathe. And
I'm in your top 3 Jedi. I'm honored.
Yes, you are, Cal.
Yes, you are, Callahan. Yes, you are. Top 2.
Callahan should be in everyone's top 3 Jedi.
Anyways, so.
But he's my number 1 favorite Han Solo. Harrison Ford gets second because he doesn't even like him.
So that was all good. Actually, Harrison Ford gets third.
Yes!
Third best Han Solo. Actually, I would say 4th. 5th. Now that I think about it, 5th. Here we go. Callahan is number 1.
Yes, of course.
Here we go. Callahan's number 1, Han Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, gotta put some respect on Alden Ehrenreich.
Oh, yes. Put some respect on my boy's name. Put some respect on Solo as a movie. Put some respect on Solo as a movie.
Jamie Costa. The guy from YouTube that did like a Han Solo fan film.
Wait, what?
He looked just like Harrison Ford. He does he looks just like Harrison Ford.
Han Solo
Number
and
4,
Smuggler's Trade, 2016.
the guy who voiced him in Battlefront 2. Number 5, Harrison Ford.
I will say the Battlefront 2 voice is pretty good.
The Battlefront 2 voice is great. Okay. And yes, I'm talking about the new Battlefront 2, the 2017 version. Han Beard. Although I will have to say, 6th place, the guy who played him in the original Battlefront 2. It's just funny hearing Han Solo running into the battlefield yelling, all right, we'll get your shorts in a knot. Top 5 favorite lines from that game. Needs more recognition. Anyways. So yes, let's also the Order 66 stuff is cool, but believe it or not, more things happen in this episode than just the Order 66 part.
We're just very focused on that. This episode had such good character development. I was all over this. We get more Mandalorian culture. We get Children of the Watch stuff. We get Bo-Katan, Armorer, Paz Vizsla, Grogu. It was so good. Paz Vizsla's little shit of a kid.
Mandalorians live on a planet that doesn't want to kill you challenge. Level impossible.
Yeah. It does kind of.
Concord Dawn.
Australia.
Literally,
I can only assume that's where they're living now.
They live in space Australia. What's that place? This was a Marvel Comics that's like that. It's like Dinosaur Island or something like that.
Oh,
You're the Spider-Man villain that's like, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into pterodactyls. Honestly, are we surprised that Paz
Savage Land?
Yeah, Savage Land, something like that. Are we surprised that Paz Vizsla his son is arrogant? He's a Vizsla.
Yeah,
I need a Vizsla that wasn't arrogant. Maybe Tar, but we don't really know him that well.
Oh yeah, We literally the most that we've seen of Tar Vizsla is statues and silhouettes.
For real, bro is more fleshed out in name than anything else. You know what would be super interesting though? I would love to get to see Tar Vizsla in the Mandalorian. That would be really cool. I don't think it'll happen this season.
I mean, you could go back to that. I'm sure we've all seen, but we all follow Kate Comics on Instagram because their work is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Haunted Darksaber. I'm just saying, it's a really cool concept.
It is. You know what I would love to see though? You know what? So this season, I heard a rumor that we are going to be getting Fen Rao at some point.
I saw that.
So live action Fen Rao.
I'd be interested to see what they've been doing out on Conquered
Dawn. 5.5, it's coming. Ezra's going home. Fen Rao, Sabine are coming in. But I don't think if they did that, I think we'd see them minimally this season. I do feel like this season is going to bring together all the Mandalorians, including the ones out on Bo-Katan's new party boat. For real. What are they up to?
They're just raving. Space rave.
You know what I need to do? I need to get that, like I said, the Moff Gideon's light cruiser. Because I just got the new the old Mandalorian battle pack. I actually found it like a really good deal. Yes. So it was on Amazon for like $22, and I was like,
dude, I had like 5 of those.
You have like 5? I got the one, and I was excited because I've got a ton of Mandalorians, and like I've made some of my own like personal Mandalorian minifigures. So honestly, I'm gonna buy that set and just turn it into a party cruise.
Do it. Party boat, Night Owl's party boat.
So I have a question. So Mandalorians, when they do the do,
there's a lot of clanking involved.
Do you think it's so? Mando took a bath in his full armor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Unfortunately, so I wish he'd taken more of it off.
Me too.
That would have been nice.
I was watching that scene going, the people that make Pedro Pascal edits are gonna go crazy. They're gonna go feral. It's me. I'm people.
It's good stuff. Anyway.
Great for that. Respect Pedro juice. Anyway. This episode gave birth to one of my new favorite lines in Star Wars. One does not speak unless one knows.
Ooh.
I think, honestly, that line for me has overtaken I Have Spoken as my new favorite line from The Mandalorian.
Okay.
One does not speak unless one knows.
It's interesting that you call back to that because those two feel like they fit well together.
They do. Well, I think Queel is a good example of that because he speaks because he knows.
Right. And on the things that he does not know, he does not speak on them.
I have spoken. That's a fun little callback. I've been, it has been a minute since we've watched any of it, but my girlfriend and I were watching season 1, and I love Queel. He's great.
It was so good.
Queel origin movie when Queel needs a Disney Plus show.
Queel just chilling on Bespin.
What if the events of Empire Strikes Back are Queel's one way out?
I was thinking Queel's Order 66, but that works too.
One way out.
I'm still waiting on a con where we just see 50,000 of the Andor prisoners just all chanting one way out. And I hope I will be getting an outfit to join them.
I will too. That would be great. That's the best Star Wars cosplay ever, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you need a load of people for it, but...
Well, I think there's a thing at Celebration where they do like the running of like the rebels.
The running of the Wilbur Hoods. We just have to wait for Celebration to come back to the U.S.
The running of the Wilbur Hoods. So we have that, but we also have... There was somebody a few years ago, they redid the Vader scene from Rogue One.
Oh, I saw that, and it was so good.
Where that looks pretty awesome. So that might be Celebration this year. One way out. Anyways, back to Mandalorian. Paz Vizsla's son gets kidnapped, and it's goofy as hell, and I loved every second of it.
I loved it because he really does just kind of get picked up by a space pterodactyl.
Boy said,
"Whoop! All right, I'm gonna head out," and gets promptly abducted.
He said, "Hold up, I'm gonna pick up some takeout real quick. Anybody want some shrimp fried Mando?" Wheep! Also, I love the fact that like Paz's kid gets a rescue party. There's another helmet in that nest, which means that somebody just was like...
Somebody else's kid didn't.
Well, it was an adult helmet, I think.
Oh.
So they were like, weakling. You know what it was? It was literally the Pre Vizsla from Clone Wars moment. Failure. I want more Pre Vizsla stories.
Pre Vizsla would be good. I did like the little detail of Bo-Katan is now like in this war party, and she turns it in. She's like, "How do you eat without taking your helmet off?"
Oh my god! So my parents, I was on the phone with them. They were like, "Oh, there's a new man." But this is before they watched the episode. They're like, "There's a new Mandalorian episode." I was telling them the new Mandalorian episode, this and that. And then my dad I hear him in the background. He goes, "How does somebody eat with the helmet?"
I actually have a video of how you do it. You tip it forward and you slide the food under.
Mm-hmm. But he was like,
I did this with a breadstick.
Yeah, he's like, "How does they eat without taking their helmets off?" And I was just like,
"Drink with your water like that."
Yes, I did used to drink on stream. If you need footage, watch old Under the Helmet episodes. Not too much, because some of them were a little rough.
I mean, all of them were a little rough, but
Yes, the breadstick pick. It does exist.
There's several photos of me from the last con I went to when I went as Boba Fett, just wearing the helmet on like the top of my head, just like how they did like the behind the scenes photos. It was golden.
Man, I only wish that there was a place that we'd planned to both of us wear Mandalorian helmets that we definitely aren't going to talk about now in the event that it was something that we had planned. But if only there was a place where both of us dress up as Mandos.
Absolutely.
Hypothetically, in a road trip that may be planned.
Mm-hmm. Potentially a vlog.
Anyway.
Yeah, let's go ahead. What I love Grogu getting to like do like flips and stuff and shoot the little darts.
And just I was waiting for him to like flip over him and shoot darts as he was shooting. So like one shot here, one shot here, one shot here.
So
I also
want to say, so my old Boba Fett armor, the one that I wore made out of cardboard.
Best cardboard?
The best cardboard, yeah. It is I wore it to a paintball game and it's kind of stained. So I'm happy to know that that cosplay is now canon again. Because Mandalorians do in fact play paintball. And that's so funny to me. And
I love that.
The look on his face was like, oh, I like this tunic.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to shower without taking your helmet off?
You know how hard it is to shower without taking the onesie that you've worn for the past 5 years off? He does not have any other clothes.
Also, so I saw a thing that was like, so what happens when my head grows? They just make him a new helmet. It ain't that deep, bro. They just get him a new helmet. Like, that's the easiest solution ever.
Traditionally, with Mandalorian families at least, because Beskar is such a commodity, when one of your former, say like a grandparent, dies, their armor would then be melted down for you and then made into your armor once you're ready. The helmet is the only piece that, well, you know, would really need to be like expressly sized. The rest is just minor covering. There's not that much that wraps all the way around. The helmet's the only thing that's it's a bucket that you see out of.
I like it.
And as somebody who regularly wears Mandalorian helmets, they are really just buckets that you try and see out of. Emphasis on try.
It is fun to try to see out of them. It makes it interesting.
I need to send you a link for a thing so that you can make your voice heard while you're in your helmet. Because that's one of the biggest things for me.
I love that Bo-Katan just like told the armor like straight up about the mythosaur. And the armor, I love her because she just goes, is this mythosaur in the room with us now?
So
she just straight up didn't believe her. It was great.
I want to get into this moment.
I want to talk. Definitely lay it on me.
Because this moment builds up my theory for why I believe that the armor is the main villain of Mando Season 3.
Oh.
And people are going to raise their eyebrows at that, but think about it. The Children of the Watch are a cult. They've been regarded as a cult by everybody else. And cult leaders, which currently we see the armor in a leadership position. When cult leaders' power are threatened, say by the Darksaber, say by a mythosaur, they need to find a way to, get rid of that power. In this case, the people threatening that power are the Mandalorian and Bo-Katan. So what do they do for now? They try and bring them into the fold and see if they will just stop. But now, previously, we just had the Darksaber as that, I need to sneeze. The only threat to her power.
Yeah.
Previously, the Darksaber was the only threat to the armor's power. That being said, I don't think Mando's used it in front of anybody among the Children of the Watch except Paz Vizsla and the Armorer. I don't know if they even know that he has it.
I mean, it's just hanging off his belt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like literally like I'm just standing up for reference here. I have this happen to have a lightsaber right here just for reference.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, literally just like hanging like right by his ass.
Yeah. And
How would I know that? How would I know that? I was looking at his ass. Go on.
I mean, same. Look.
Double cheek though.
When.
Anyway.
Sorry, that reminds me. There's.
Why do you think the armor is the villain?
Why do I think the armor is the villain? Because the armor is going to see both Mando and Bo-Katan as threats to her rule and try to eliminate them.
Okay.
The armor is going to see these other Mandalorians who refuse to join the Children of the Watch as threats to the rule. She wants to unify Mandalore, but she wants to unify it under the old ways, or rather her way. That's what I see. Because she is leaving this cult. You see that despite Mando being redeemed and having the Darksaber, she does not regard him as leader of the cult. She's not looking to him for leadership. He's still looking to her. If Mando had been redeemed, in possession of the Darksaber, and had won it in trial by combat, and has already fought to keep it, he's redeemed now. He has the Darksaber. He's Mandalore. That's the way it goes.
But I would also think like this. So a lot of cults, another thing that happens with a lot of cults, to kind of back this theory up, because I like where this is going, because you have to think of it like this. The armorer is kind of like a motherly figure to Din, we could say.
Yeah.
He lost his parents. He was inducted in the Children of the Watch. So I can see how where you're coming from with that. But like, I think I guess, I don't want to say submits to her, but doesn't assert his rule over her because he feels like he can't. Because he's like, that's my mother. In the same way that, like, I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. Like, you know how, like, so my family, for example, my paternal grandfather has passed away. So if you're looking at things through a patriarchal lens, that would make because my uncle doesn't live close by, her oldest son doesn't live close by, so that would kind of make my dad the de facto, or no, my great uncle is the de facto head, but everybody still defers. Like if my grandmother says, "Hey, we're gonna do this," guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do what grandma says, even though she's not technically the head, because it's like a respect thing. It's so, in Mandalorian culture is very much about respect.
Yes.
And that found family dynamic. So I see where you're coming from. And my example probably was not the best example. So take it with a very thick grain of salt. But it's very much that, like, I can see where you're coming from with that. Do you think that the armorer is going to challenge Din for the Darksaber?
Maybe.
Do you think that Mando would win?
I think he would.
You think he would beat her?
I think he'd beat her. I think he had a chance. Either that, or we end up with Black Panther. Where he gets stabbed with the Darksaber and kicked off a river, and then he gets picked up by Fen Rao, who's been keeping him in a pit of sand or snow or whatever to keep his body alive.
I can just imagine the armor, like, is this your Mandalore?
I'm just saying.
Somebody edit it.
Because I rewatched that movie the other day. I love that fight. I love the entire movie.
Yeah.
But
somebody please go in the Discord, Callahan. Take the Fen Rao is kind of like M'Baku if you really think about it. But take like that scene, like the "Is this your king?" and just have like Din's helmet over T'Challa and just have like Grogu just sitting like next to him, just like kind of like looking up. This your king? And Grogu just like, huh? Make it happen, please. Anyways, I think we've pretty much
hit Mando pretty hard.
Okay, so the one thing, two things actually. So
Okay.
one thing is that when they take down the giant pterodactyl, there's always a bigger fish.
Thank you, Qui-Gon. Very cool.
And finally, I thought for a second, they were like, "Oh, this is such a great episode about rescuing children." The whole theme of the episode is like rescuing the foundlings of the next generation. I was like, and they're just gonna leave those babies to die.
Nope.
And
they got them now.
I was genuinely surprised by that. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." They're gonna.
I cannot wait to see Grogu riding on a baby pterodactyl.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna make all the pterodactyls helmets and induct them into being Mandalorians. That's a joke. I know that's not gonna actually happen, but it'd be really cool.
I'm waiting for. I was honestly waiting for Bo-Katan to turn to somebody and say, "Do you guys make helmets that big?" Because despite being now part of the Children of the Watch, she's not like fully cultified.
Yeah,
no, she's just kind of vibing there because it's convenient, and her house also got blown up. Again,
I know.
If I had a nickel for every time the Empire bombed Bo-Katan's house, I'd have 2 nickels, which is what is weird that it's happened twice. This is really bad.
Really sad. Honestly, like the Empire, like so. We often talk about how like Obi-Wan's had a really hard life in Star Wars, and don't get me wrong, he has.
Yes.
But honestly,
he had to live through Anakin Skywalker, and then also getting rid of Anakin Skywalker.
I hate to say it, but when it comes to like getting cosmically fucked over by the universe itself, Bo-Katan is really high up there.
There's a reason she's sitting on the Depression throne by the start of season 3. She lost her giant boat. Like, she lost her house. She lost her family. She lost her sister to a spiky head guy with robot legs. Like,
hey, look, I'm
How you doing there, Bo?
I didn't see you there.
All right, I feel like we've hit Mando pretty well.
Out of this chair.
And in the spirit of not making this episode 2 hours long. Oh God, I don't want this episode to be 2 hours long.
We can speedrun Bad Batch because like a lot happens, but not a lot happens. So
yeah.
All right. Reason this was my favorite. We got to see more Clone Boys, and they got to fuck up some stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Yes, they did.
Also, most importantly, he's back. The man, the myth, the thirst trap, Hauser.
That's Captain Hauser. That's Captain Hauser, and I love me some Captain Hauser.
Man, and I screamed. I screamed louder than I did for Ahmed Best, and I screamed really loud for Ahmed Best. Okay, I was so excited for him, but I saw Hauser, and I was like, "It's my boy! There he is! It's our guy! There he is!" And then I said, "Where is Cody? Is he safe? Is he all right?" Because I wonder. So
I didn't see him there.
Said that Cody defected. I wonder if, or went AWOL.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that prison is AWOL. And I don't mean like, oh, they call it AWOL. Like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean like,
he doesn't know what happened to Cody because he didn't have that level of clearance.
Or he had that level of clearance because he was like a vice admiral.
And he's not going to tell. You don't tell people because it's a prison for clones. You don't tell the clones about the secret clone prison.
Yeah. And
If you're the secret police, you don't tell people you're the secret police. They find out when you abduct them and take them on a permanent vacation to Siberia, or in this case, Mount Tantus.
Mount Tantus is Star Wars Siberia confirmed.
I mean, kind of.
Star Wars Siberia. Take a vacation to Mount Tantus. So I really enjoyed Crosshair this episode. Also, I love that they showed him being drugged by him missing like every first shot.
He just had to lock it in.
He just said, "Miss, hit."
Hey guys, I'm
Also,
over here.
I'm just saying. Crosshair stunned the nurse, the lady scientist.
Mm-hmm.
We love a feminist king.
We do.
During Women's History Month.
He's like, I will not kill you. You I will stun.
Well, I think so this is not my theory. I think 1313 maybe said it, but I think she's going to be a part of the escape. Like,
I'd
part of the
believe
reason
that.
why he escapes, because
she was actively attempting to like not make things worse for him.
She was like, "Listen, buddy, you're kind of screwed. Like, Gregor couldn't escape. You ain't escape it."
Gregor did end up escaping.
Yeah, but like he literally got like yanked out by the Bad Batch, and then they.
Speaking of Gregor, we saw him again, my boy, in commando armor.
We did. It lost its color scheme, but it's okay.
Well, yeah.
I feel like Gregor is the type to like kill a commando, and then just be like, he just goes, "Well, you're not gonna need this armor anymore.
This is one for the scrapbooks, boys." As he like starts marking down tallies for TK troopers instead of droids.
Exactly. And then also we got two other clones. I don't remember their names.
I also don't remember their names. I thought one of them was Commander Gree, but it was not.
Yeah, no. Oh, Fireball. Fireball's his name.
Fireball! Yeah! I like Fireball.
Fireball.
Do you think they blast that on the clone revolution ship as they're going into battle?
I don't know. That's a good question. Also, we got to see Echo.
Yeah, we got to see Echo, and that made me happy. And he's back with the batch, and it was so good. Also, we're happy.
He got rid of his. So I did not notice this, but again, 1313 pointed out he got rid of his camo. He got rid of his khaki camo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. They pointed it out, and sure enough, he got rid of it. So also, I just want to say, I am a fan of the Bad Batch's like Under Armour gear.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks cool. I like the fact that it looks a lot more like lived in versus the whole like they're constantly walking around in like military grade armor.
Right.
Like that would
do that all the time.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of suspicious if you think about it. So I like that. And I also like that they walk around without it on Pabu.
Mm-hmm.
Because they feel safe there. They feel comfortable there. I did notice, though, because I looked. Hunter's still packing. But I didn't necessarily see Tech or Wrecker packing heat. But then again, he is the heat. The wrecking
Tech
ball.
is. Oh, you were talking about Wrecker.
I was talking about Wrecker, yeah. Also, that man, he was fishing.
He was having a
Wrecker
good time.
is living, like, he's living his retirement dreams, and I'm so happy for him.
He has found his fishing simulator. He is going with it. He's having a good time.
Also, poor Tech had to teach Omega to drive.
And he was doing a really good job of it.
He's doing a great job. Kind of solidifies the theory that he's gonna but you know. So we have 2 episodes of Bad Batch next week, and then we're done with this season.
Yeah.
There's not really much else to say. Oh, we got working with Ryo Chuchi, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm glad to see that they still have some Senate support while the Senate's still around.
Yep. So I want to ask this with the Bad Batch, because there's not really much else to say about Bad Batch. Like,
Mhm.
it is probably my favorite episode of the 3 because I got to see more clones again.
Yep.
And the only other thing is that like Crosshair gets recaptured. Hemlock makes poison that he introduced the antidote for.
Yeah. The
I
fact
thought was
that he's built up an immunity. He has Princess Brided himself.
he has extra poison. You know, you say Princess Bride. I thought of a couple of things. So I thought of President Snow from the Hunger Games. Because for those who are unaware, in the Hunger Games, President Snow would poison his enemies by drinking from a poisoned cup and then to show that they're not poisoned, and then they would drink from it. But the thing was, he would administer himself an antidote as they died.
Oh.
But the antidote doesn't always work, which is why he wore a flower on his lapel to hide the smell of the decay. It's a well-known detail in the books and in the movies. Finnick talks about it to Katniss. But also, that's why at the end of Mockingjay Part 2, when he's on the podium, kind of dying, that's why he starts like having the coughing fit. Because like
I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched Mockingjay Part 1 or 2.
Oh dang! Well, spoiler alert.
Whoopsie! It's just been out for years.
Have you read the books?
Sorry.
We got a meme in the Discord.
We do have a meme in the Discord, and it's really good.
Oh my god, that's the best Photoshop ever.
The Disney hit squad is coming for Callahan. It's very unfortunate.
The Discord. Get in here.
Oh, you back? You back? There you are. You're moving again.
I was clicking around in the Discord. My computer got scared. I was clicking on the Discord. But anyway, so no, we did not ask for high quality. But anyways, let's go ahead. I'm very interested. And the other one, anytime somebody uses poison in like any form of media, I think of a Poison Ivy. Poison. But the Uma Thurman version, Poison Ivy. But also, for some reason, I don't hear her voice saying it. I hear the Wicked Witch of the West from Wizard of Oz. You know, because there's a scene where like, poppies. Oh, that's a horrible impression. I was doing a great impression in the shower this morning.
Okay.
No, that was yesterday.
Okay.
Because like my sister used to love Wizard of Oz, so I used to watch it all the time. So every now and then, I'll just be sitting there, and I'll be like, feeling the pressure. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too. That the voice is the laugh is on point. How about a little fire, Scarecrow? Rip to your eardrums. Sorry about that.
Unfortunately, so.
Headphone.
Any more Bad Batch, or do we want to finally get into Battle Scars?
I don't have much else to say other than I'm really excited for the finale. Take your bets now. Let's see who's gonna die. Um, my
Tech,
money's
my
on
boy,
Tech.
you've been getting an awful lot of character development.
That's a lot of character development you get in there, Tech. Hey Tech, that's some nice character development you got there. It'd be a shame if somebody just Boo! Now, let's move on. Also, one more thing. When he's sending out the warning, he didn't tell them to Crosshair didn't tell the batch to rescue him. He said he was going to say the words, "They're coming after Omega."
Mm-hmm.
He was going to say her name.
Yep.
You know, I'm just saying, Star Wars. There's some names that you should be saying of some very prominent women in Star Wars that have not been mentioned and really should be. Specifically Duchess Satine Kryze. Also specifically Padme Amidala. Anyways, moving on. Say their names, you bitches. Anyways, moving on to Jedi Battle Scars. Probably the spiciest topic. Because this book was kind of spicy. You there?
Man,
Yeah.
I know that initially the spice was throwing you off. I was eating every second of it like it was cake. It was so good. Oh,
I'm here.
no, Callahan got taken.
Oh. John Favreau got him. Anyways. Sorry, Callahan. See, they're taking him to Mount Tantus. Anyways.
Next episode of Under the Helmet. The co-host tried to
Free
rescue Callahan from Mount Tantus.
So while the Bad Batch is rescuing Crosshair, we'll rescue Callahan. It'll be a prison break. Speaking of prison breaks, there's a prison break in this book, in Battlestar.
There was.
So
it was a distraction, but it was a prison break.
Let me just say, for those who have not read Battle Scars, you should read the book. I think if you're a fan of Fallen Order, if you liked Fallen Order, and you want to get more of these characters before Battle Scars, or not Battle Scars, before Survivor, this book is worth it.
If
Sam Maggs,
you haven't read the book and you have any intention to and don't want the entire thing spoiled, you should turn off the video now.
Yes. Leave, come back.
And I'll let Dylan, we can do the little thing where we put like the bars on YouTube of like the Battle Scar spoilers.
This will be our last segment. We'll skip news and rumors today, and we'll just do an extra long one next week.
All right, I'm down.
So that way, because the only real news and rumors I have is the Survivor trailer, and this directly kind of ties into this book. So
that's because you normally have like one or two.
Yeah, not my fault. You actually follow the news. Does a segment on news and rumors, actually follows the news and rumors. Anyways, let's get into it. So let me start with the thing. I'll start right off the bat. Things. I'll say one thing that I really liked. I'll kind of speed run the things I didn't like, and then we'll get into it. Because overall, I thought the book was good, but it could have been better, in my opinion. I think it really suffered from being a middle stage story. Like, the ending very much was not a great resolution to the story, especially for being such a small scale story. Like, I felt like it felt kind of rushed to me. Like, all the plot threads came kind of crashing together at the very end. So I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I love how Sam Maggs writes all of the characters. She absolutely understands the Mantis crew and nails them perfectly. Things I did not like. the new characters added, Fret, and I don't remember the other one's name.
Array.
Yeah, I did not like Fret and Irie.
Really?
So I think one of the things I didn't like about Fret is that she kind of just went from like, hey, Mantis crew, please save my life. I'm a good person, to like constantly fucking them over the whole time. And also, more importantly, like, hey, people that just saved my life, thank you for doing that. I'm going to go fuck Marin now.
They did.
And
they did. Yeah.
Maybe a part of it is God, I wish that were me. But honestly, and I do have to say, this is not an issue with the romance. I thought the romance for them made sense. I really like the way they sort of, I guess I really like the way they describe Marin as being sort of pansexual, which I personally really enjoy. That was a really great description.
As somebody who relates to it, I agree with that. It was nice.
Absolutely. I have no issues with that.
I'm happy that we're getting books that showcase queer characters that aren't getting written out by Dave Filoni. That's nice. That's very nice.
Yes. I will. I was not a fan that this book had sort of a like the relationship between Marin and Fret. I feel like would have been a lot better if you didn't introduce the character of Irie. Like,
I think that is part of the reason why their relationship is. I enjoyed seeing it get, because ultimately, in the back of my mind, I was like, you know what, Marin, if you and Fret end this story, going off into your own personal sunset, good for you. I would be sad to see you go. And then Irie shows up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you should stay with Cal. Oh, I'm so happy.
But she didn't. Didn't she kind of like go off with them to do their own like thing?
No, there was like that bit in the hot springs, but she was like, hey, we can't do this and we got to stay friends, right? And she was like, yeah, friends. Then they made out a little bit more. But ultimately, Fret and Irie are off doing their, they're going their own way. Marin is still on the Mantis with the Mantis crew. So this is very evident by the fact that we saw her in the Survivor trailer, along with Grease. And see
Greasy 3 arms.
Greasy 3 arm. My man got his fucking arm cut off by an Inquisitor.
Yes, and not just any Inquisitor, one with a stupid hat.
Stupid hat that is called a stupid hat by every character that runs into him.
Literally everyone is like. And I have to say, and again, this is don't take this as legitimate criticism. Please don't.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me Cal Kestis said the hat was stupid, but Ezra Bridger didn't?
I do find that funny. I think he was thinking it. I think he was thinking it the whole time, but it felt like too obvious of a joke.
I feel like behind closed doors, like on the Ghost, like after a fight, because like it's implied throughout Red Bull season 2 that like they fought multiple times. And like you can just imagine, like after that first encounter, they're on the Phantom flying back, and after that, like, oh, is it okay? They look at each other, and Ezra's like, "That guy's hat was really dumb, wasn't it?"
Well, we see the reason why he wears his stupid hat.
Like, and then like after like a fight, they get back on the ship, Kanan and Ezra, and it's like Ezra like is mad at something. He's like, "Stupid freaking hat," or "That's a stupid ass hat." And Kanan's like, "Ezra," and he's like, "What? It is a stupid ass hat." And Kanan's like, "I know, but you didn't have to say it." So there's that. I love the scene in the prison break where Sierra literally disassembles his lightsaber with the Force.
Yes, that was so cool.
That was such a cool feat. that I want to see more of.
Mhm.
Also, I love that Cal describes Seer as one of the strongest Force users in the galaxy.
And we see it. We see reasoning.
Also, I love her talking about falling to the dark side and like how she'll never do it again. Like I enjoyed that so much.
There were so many good conversations. I think still to
There-
this day, one of my favorite conversations from the book, and you and I have talked about it a couple times,
Mhm.
is the conversation that Cal and Seer have about attachments.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cal's like, Seer, can I talk to you for a moment? And she's like, okay, shit, I have to do a parent thing now. He's like, how do you not form attachments? And she says to him straight to his face, I don't know. And he's like, what? And she's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Because if we don't have anyone in this galaxy that's worth saving to us, why are we trying to save it? And actively is like, if we form attachments, we form attachments. The Order's dead. The dinosaurs that made those rules are also dead. They cannot speak for their rules.
Mm-hmm.
Their ass is in the ground.
You know what I really enjoyed, and I think is going to play a big role in Survivor, is so Sierra's whole bit in this is her character motivation is trying to rebuild the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to preserve its knowledge and its history for a new generation of Jedi.
Yeah, and she
Which
gets that
I
tiara
really
thing.
like. I think that is a great fit part of her character.
Mhm.
Because I think that's what she always wanted. I think she was okay with destroying the holocron, but she was kind of like, damn, man,
Damn.
I could have put new info on that.
She was like, well, if we have to, I mean, that was kind of the whole thing that I got your ass for, but sure.
Damn it, you space ginger.
I really can't say much because I was not the one actively going out and fighting Inquisitors to get this thing, but if I was, then, well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I did fight Darth Vader, so maybe we could keep it.
Yeah, but anyways, so what I found
She
interesting.
faced down against Darth Vader. And then Cal brings it up like 5 times every second in this book. And I'm like, oh, shit.
He's like,
He fought
she
Darth
fought Darth
Vader.
Vader and lived. And we fought Darth Vader and lived. And like, I really love the scene of Cal fighting against the fifth brother because he's like, I'm kind of screwed in this fight. I can get some licks there.
His stupid fucking hat deflects my lightsaber. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I love that moment where he's like, time to cut that stupid ass hat in half, and his ass slides off of it.
He's like, it was at this moment he knew he fucked up. But yeah, I enjoyed the book. I don't want to say that I didn't enjoy the book.
Mm-hmm.
I would say overall, I would give it a 7 out of 10. There are some very high highs in the book.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the biggest low was the Fret and Marin romance. I felt I didn't dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that it was an inclusive romance. I just wish that it was not burdened down by a tropey love triangle. I wish it got to be what it was. And the appearance of Irie kind of threw me off, especially in the beginning of the prison where they're like, hey, we're going to break you out. And she's just like, no, I'm going to sit here. Like that scene, and it's supposed to frustrate you, but it really frustrated me more than it should. I think part of it was listening on the audiobook. And also the scene of Marin and Fret's first makeout session kind of was surprising. I think it's also part of me being on an audiobook and listening to it where I was like, ooh, I didn't hate it. It was just very unexpected for me to be like in the middle of folding laundry. And then it was like, and then Fret's strong hands. I was like, whoa, pause. What do you mean?
So you were in the middle of folding laundry. I was at work.
Yeah.
I was surrounded by my coworkers, actively reading as a very strong, very large purple lady made out with a night sister. And I was like, I'm living my best life.
And she literally held the door closed with her magic. That was cool.
I liked that. And Cal seeing her fire come back is like, man, her magic's back. That's so good for her. Man, Marin's got a bruise on her neck. I'll have to get her some healing salve for that later. You can tell his ass was raised in a cult.
Bro did not know what a hickey was, but I enjoyed that. I looking back, I re-listened to that scene in the audiobook, and since I knew it was coming, I was like, okay, I don't dislike this as much, but it was definitely jarring the first time. My biggest issue with the book is I feel like the ending kind of just happened. Like everything seemed really rushed. And like honestly, the fifth brother didn't have to show up in the finale.
He didn't have to. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy
I
it.
enjoyed watching Cal and Marin work together to kick his ass.
That part was nice.
It was enjoyable, but I felt like it was one of those like I was sitting there and I was like, oh, okay, this guy is like no threat whatsoever. Like the business guy or whatever, whose name I don't even remember or care to remember.
Karis Lars.
Maybe I don't remember. He's
Hollow
very
Bones Birdman.
I do like that fifth brother kills him, but like Marin could have done that and that would have been fine. But and then it's just like the elevator stopped and the fifth brother walked out and I was like, I actively rolled my eyes. I was like, oh damn it. I was like, it just seemed very rushed to me. I understand why they did it. It closed the plot up nicely. It just wasn't it just seemed very rushed. That's why overall I give it a 7. I think it's definitely worth the read. I think if you are a fan and you're hyped for Survivor, definitely read it. It is it is worth the read. Absolutely. It is a great book. It is just there were some moments in there that I did not personally enjoy, but I think that it was much more of a me thing than it was anything with the story. And I think it may have been different if I read the book physically than listened to an audiobook. So, but overall, my score changed. When I first read it, I was like, oh, this is like a 6.5. I've definitely bumped it to a 7. It's gotten because I re-listened to the beginning as well, and the fight scenes literally are written like you're playing the game.
Oh, it's so good. That first fight had me
phenomenal. They are written just like the game.
Also, Karis Lar, his species, the Amwati, that have hollow bones, they look like this. I just felt like this was, they're described as bird people sometimes. And every time that they said bird-like, I was imagining a lot more, bird-like.
I was thinking he was going to have a beak.
I expected more bird features, and there were not as many bird features as I expected.
I imagined him as a thin, pale skeleton guy.
Bless you.
I imagined him as like the pterodactyl from Mandalorian, but with no wings. And he was just like, "Wah! Fly away!"
He did have a jetpack.
He said, "Flying? Fuck that! I'm taking a jetpack. The future is now, old man."
I love that Cal was also like, he has a jetpack. Of course, this guy has a jetpack. Like Cal.
Also, I love the way they just dunk on the Haxan brood.
Yeah, that was fun. I like that.
It's great. But yeah, so what's your score overall for the book?
Oh, score overall for this one is like, because this, honestly, for so much of my life, I haven't been reading, and this book kind of reignited my love for reading, and I'm now halfway through one of the prequel novels for Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Nice.
Which comes out on the 30th. I'm so excited for this movie. There's 2 prequel novels that I found. So I've been reading this, and as you can see, I'm about halfway through. Gabby and I have been reading Princess and Scoundrel. That's a bedtime story that I love so much. It's so... Ow.
But yeah.
Oh,
Do you have anything
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no. Cal made it back though.
Star Wars is the best thing I've ever seen. I can only ever watch Star Wars for the rest of my life. You know, glad to have you back, Callahan. That's not creepy at all.
Yeah. Oh no.
Anyways, I don't have anything else to say. I would definitely recommend the book.
Mhm.
It, even with my issues with it, I still thoroughly enjoyed the book.
Oh yeah, that's a great book.
You should read it for the character interactions alone in the book.
For the combat alone. The character actions, the combat,
really understands the crew of the Mantis, their personalities. Never once did I, while listening to this book, think Cal wouldn't do that or Grease wouldn't do that.
And I feel like that's such a hard thing to do if you're picking up with characters that are existing, and it shows just how much time Sam Maggs put into going into these characters and fully understanding them to the depths that somebody who's picking up pre-existing characters needs to.
That is one thing I particularly love about Star Wars is that you get Obi-Wan in Clone Wars and you see the progression. You can be like, yeah, this was the same Obi-Wan that was in episode 2. Or this was the same Obi-Wan that I'm going to see in Revenge of the Sith. Like, same with Anakin. Like, same with Ahsoka. Like, the characters translate so well between different mediums. It's thoroughly enjoyable. And I think that is one of the things that Star Wars continually gets right, is that it keeps its character writing consistent throughout all of its mediums. Whether it be movies, books, comics, it just gets it. It gets it right across the board. TV shows, same, nails it every time. So I don't have much else to say.
Yeah, I mean, it was just good.
We pretty much nailed it. Hour and a half, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
Knock it out the park. So, with that being said, do you want to do the outro?
I'll let you do it. This is your thing.
All right. So, with that being said, have a good night. One does not speak unless there's always a bigger fish. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join that Discord. Follow us on Instagram so you can keep up. And we will see you the next time we go Under the Helmet.
Under the Helmet.